Greetings, ladies and gentle readers. I'm Dwyron, and I've been reading for a very, very, very long time, and not all of those books have been good ones. This is my top worst tier list of fantasy, my genre of choice. And to be honest, this was a little bit difficult to actually put together because there are books that I know exist that I wanted to put on here, but I've completely scrubbed them from my memory. Like, I have vague notions of what they were, but I couldn't quite remember the titles because my brain had almost gotten rid of all information aside from, yeah, that made this thing really bad. Don't read it ever again, but I just can't remember. I just can't remember. My brain was defending me. Unfortunately, my brain did remember all too many books that I never want to read ever again, and I wanted to bring some of them to your attention. I also wanted to, right off the bat, make a very, very, very big clarification. Well, not really a clarification, but more of an explanation. And that is, it's too easy to just like pick some person who you've never heard of, they've just self-published, and read something that has editing problems and punctuation and just be like, yeah, this is the worst thing. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. We're doing things that people are probably going to have read or heard about before because, like our first example, good old Battlefield Reclaimer, this thing has almost 4,000 reviews on the Amazons. If I go ahead and take a look at it here, we've got, what do we have for reviews? 70% 5-star, 22% 4-star, 6.3, 1.2, and 1.2. This must be a pretty good book. Everyone should rush out and read it. Maybe not. Maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. I think right now for the worst, I think maybe it's not quite an F. Maybe I think it's just going to be a C. Notice there is no D tier. I think I might give this one a C and not an F. I think the F is being reserved for some things you're going to see in a minute. Why is this thing so bad, you might ask yourself? And I would unfortunately answer this right here. And let me scroll in a little bit here so you can see it a little bit easier. There you go. A reason why it is so bad is because the entire book takes place in a hole in the ground. It's the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Like, you immediately, right at the beginning of the book, you know exactly why the author felt that they wanted to write these books. That's part of the fun of reading really, really bad novels, is you can see the dream the author had. In this case, he decided to make someone who probably wasn't going anywhere get ahead in life. Awesome, great. Did it through a machine. Okay. That turned him into humanity's worst enemy. Essentially the equivalent of like a devil for the most part. Not quite, but for the most part. Made this person a devil. Humans were like, oh, we don't like these things. So, okay, great. You can explore like who you are and the whole lot of things this book could have done. Instead, they throw him in a hole in the ground where he studies magic. Doesn't that sound interesting? Don't get your hopes up. By magic, I mean he's studying runes, lines. Essentially lines that the author, thought up, and the main character's like, oh, if I do this line here instead of that line here, I'm cheating the system. And it's like, are you kidding me? For hundreds of pages, we're going to read about you going on about lines and connecting them. You've got to be kidding. You've got to be, this can't actually be what you're writing about. And it is. It is. To this day, I have no comprehension how this has such good reviews. It is the most boring garbage, one of the most boring garbage I've ever come across. It's got three other books in the series. Part of me wants to read them to see if they're as bad as this one, because surely it can't be that bad. But yeah, goes into a hole in the ground and stays in the hole in the ground and just studies runes for hundreds and hundreds of pages. And then when he finally does encounter other people, nothing goes like you would expect. Something really, really terrible happens. And you'd be like, oh, okay, now everyone's going to have to react to the terrible thing that just happened. And they're like, nah, they're over it in 2 seconds. It's like, yeah, he cares. So, should we leave? Let's all leave now? All right, great. Yeah, poor you. It's like, what the? Nothing here makes sense. Nothing here makes sense. Like, all of the hard effort in writing this apparently went into the rune system that we're supposed to be blown away by. And it's just boring and dysfunctional, and I hate it. I hate it. No one should read this book, ever. But worse than that, it's disappointing because I like the premise of the start where the main character starts off as human and he's normal, if, not really going anywhere. And then he turns into, like, the worst race ever. Like, the worst species, essentially, in the galaxy. And it's like, you're this now. How do you cope? Have fun. That could be so much fun. A better author could take that and just, like, fly with it. And it's just nothing but disappointment and sadness. So, yeah. Hated it. Good premise. Bad writing. Next up, we've got A Shadow in Summer. What is this called? The something quartet? Yeah, the Long Price Quartet. And I saw that as a thoroughly engrossing debut novel from a major new fantasist, says George R.R. Martin. It must be an amazing book. No. Again, no. So what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? I mean, where do we even start? Part of it is the plot doesn't make sense. Like, at all. Imagine an entire, like, the world's largest economy. The world's largest economy. Or one of them. Let's say the economy of California. Let's say the entire economy of California resided on the shoulders of one person. That dude would be someone protected. Right? Oh, you wouldn't be able to get close to this person because, you can't let anything happen to this guy because everybody is relying on this guy being alive. Nah, he's got no protection, goes off by himself, and it's like, what? What country would work that way? But okay, fine. One weird plot thing. What's the rest of the book about? Well, the rest of the book is about characters not behaving anyway like they've been set up to behave. They're just like, hey, I'm going to screw over this person. Like, hey, I'm going to screw over that person. It's like, why? And the main character is just like, I'm just going to sit around and be boring and useless. It's like, oh. Like, they try to set up, like drama with relationships and just don't care. And like, ha, now I'm going to go and do something else. And it's like, I still don't care. You give me no reason to care. I don't care about any of these characters. It's like, oh, I'm now cheating on this person. I don't care. These characters are flat and boring. I don't care what's going on. Like, honestly, though, because there's a little bit more world building than Battlefield, I'll give it a B in terms of the worst things ever. Like, it's not in the F tier. It's not like the worst of the worst. It's just not good. Maybe the author was trying to go for shock value with the way, like, some of the relationships went. And I mean, if you're just trying to be, like, shocking or whatever, you need to work harder at it. Set it up so you have, like, actually emotional investment in, like, the thing you're about to flip on its head. That way you get more reaction from your reader or something. But this is just lazy. It brings us to the Azazel Academy. I forget, is this cultivation? Was this cultivation? I think this was one of my first forays into cultivation novels because I just read a top tier cultivation novel. That was shortly after I discovered the Cradle series. I'm like, okay, some of these cultivation novels are pretty good. Let's read some more of them. And this is junk. All the characters are flat and two-dimensional. The plot is nothing special. You can probably get away. You can probably make your way through it. It's just gonna bore you. It's just gonna be boring. There's nothing really remarkable to say about it. So it's probably somewhere in, like, the C or B tier. Probably C. Probably C. This F tier is... Oh, this F tier. That brings us to Blood of the Fold. Good old Terry Goodkin. Man, a lot of people love or hate Terry Goodkin. I confess, I think the first two books that he wrote were pretty good. Was it Wizard's First Rule and Stone of Tears? I remember reading those back in the day. They weren't bad. They were entertaining. I wouldn't put them in the worst. But then something weird happens with Terry Goodkin. He starts turning like weirdly preachy and boring at the same time, and nothing really happens, and it feels like he's talking at you and not just relaying a story. So it's just like, what is this? I'm still reading fantasy, right? I didn't join a cult, did I? I'm pretty sure I didn't. I got this in the fantasy section, not in like the spiritual section or whatever. So it's like, what is going on with this? And I think around Blood of the Fold, I think around time around I picked up Blood of the Fold is when, sharp decline from Stone of Tears to Blood of the Fold, because this is just kind of boring and preachy, and not good, man. Which gives it more than enough to be on this, because after this, it just goes so downhill. The next book isn't that bad because it features like the enemy being a virus, which is kind of interesting, especially in today, because this is like written back in like what, the late 90s and stuff. So to be talking about like a pandemic back then in a fantasy setting, kind of interesting. The next book is. But I mean, this is just like the beginning of the end of the entire series. It just goes downhill from here and it never recovers. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse until you're like, Terry, bro, what'd you do? What'd you do to my boy? Like, this was actually a pretty okay series. Like, what happened, man? What happened? Sadness. So unfortunately, this represents the downhill of the series, and Blood of the Fold is our first F. Our first F. Don't worry, there will be more. Now this one, if you know fantasy, you're probably wondering, what is a Sanderson novel doing on here? Cytonic, excuse me? Like, I love Sanderson. I'm his number one fan. Okay, great. You know what? I was too for a while. In fact, I will still say Skyward is which is book 1 in this series. This is book 3, right? It says right there, Skyward, book 3. Book 1 I loved. Book 1 was such a great book. It had like this female badass pilot, right? It's kind of like Top Gun meets Star Wars, I guess is one way to describe it. And it was so good. Book 2 decided to not be that, and it tried to be like some suspenseful spy thriller. And I mean, it failed at that, but it was okay. It's probably like if you were doing like a best of tier list, like Skyward would be an S, and then book 2, I don't even know what it was, Starsight, I think it was called. That'd probably be like an F on the best list. But this thing, how do you go from an amazing space opera with a crazy good pilot to this weird, predictable, nonsensical pirates riding dinosaurs tale? Like, how did we make that switch? And for those of you who think that's actually interesting, don't. I think they were put in after the fact. I think he got through this book and he realized it was so boring he had to add in something extra. Because a fourth of the way through the book, you know how the entire book is going to end. There's nothing surprising. He pretty much tells you how the book ends immediately, and it ends that way. And it's just like, this is just bad. You know, this is just no good. So it makes Cytonic one of the most disappointing books I've ever read, because it's the death of a series I love. Like, I have no interest in reading the next book if it continues on in this path. I just don't. I absolutely don't. Like, going from Skyward to this, you don't even believe it was written by the same person. You don't. It's just boring trash with, things to distract you from how bad this book is, and it's just well-written garbage. I won't give it an F, but I'll put it in the C tier. Once again, on the cultivation kick, we have Dao Divinity. And the reason for that is because it's got 1,400 reviews. So I'm like, okay. Cultivation can be good. I've learned it. Okay, it can also be bad, as you found out, but it can be good. It's not judge a book by its cover. see what this is all about. Yeah, that might have been bad. I probably should have judged a book by its cover. I really, really, really should have. That would have been such a good idea. Oh, such a good idea to judge a book by its cover. Because this one is just a character where everything... It's okay, not everything goes right for him, but even when things don't go right for him, things go really, really right for him. And it's just like wish fulfillment cultivation with no memorable plotline or characters. All the characters are like two-dimensional, if you can even actually call them two-dimensional. That might be a little bit generous, actually. Might be calling them one-dimensional. But yeah, boring cultivation done absolutely wrong. That's what this is. I never wanted to read it ever again. I think I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt because the first book I seem to remember as being, let's go ahead and look. Yeah, the first book was like sub 400 pages, so I think I gave it 2 tries, book 1 and book 2. And it was just no. You're getting an F. You're getting an F. Sorry, 1400. Sorry, 1400. And again, it's the same thing. Like you really can't trust Amazon reviews nowadays, you know? Like 71% 5, 22% 4, 3 5-star, 1% 2, 1% 1. So it looks at first blush like, okay, this looks like it's gonna be good and go somewhere. No, it really isn't. It's bad. I hate it. Never hate it. No, just no. Now, Hero of the Valley. That one's gonna be a tough one on me. That one's gonna be a tough one. Because this thing's got 1,800 reviews on Amazon. I mean, it's not written badly. I'll probably give it an A. And here's why. I think it's just not for me. Because this features like a lot of battles that are pointless. Like a character is essentially leveling up. He gets out of his valley. Because Hero of the Valley, he's from a valley. He gets, thrown out of there. Literally. And winds up somewhere where like the level of strength and skill isn't quite up to what he's used to back home. He goes around, dungeon diving. This is a lit RPG. Goes around dungeon diving, and I mean, it's not terrible, but you don't care why he's accomplishing anything. Like he goes here and kills monsters, and he goes there and kills monsters, and he goes there and kills monsters, and like numbers go up, but there's no context for any of it, So you just don't care. It's like, okay, he did this, so what? Then he did that, so what? And he goes back and talks to a bunch of yes men, and then he goes over here, so what? Like there's no context, there's no difficulty, but it's well written. Like if you just want to read about someone like going into dungeons and using abilities in different ways by themselves, essentially in a vacuum, then okay, sure, yeah, this is fine. I've read actually all of the books that came out for the series, I think. No, I did not read the Arnite Empire. I read Hero of the Valley and Academy of Steel. I don't know if I can bear to read the Arnite Empire because it's just, yeah, it's just him going into things and like, yay, I beat this and I beat that and I killed that and I killed that and I'm getting stronger and it's fascinating, but if nothing's going on around you, who cares? Like, what's the point of this character's strength? The author doesn't give me a reason throughout the entire book to care that this character is getting stronger. Even when he helps other characters get stronger, you don't care. Because they're also a bunch of yes men. Like there's like no individual in this series besides the main character. I think it's just not for me. I'm looking for a little bit more in my writing, and yeah, that just fails. Legend of the Archmagus. Again, it's crushingly disappointing because you've got a character who's essentially dies and is like revived into a body of a young man who is is like the worst human being on the planet. And you're dealing with like the fallout of that. Like no one likes you because the person you're now inhabiting was a colossal dickbag. A complete, just worthless dickbag. So, okay, now you've got to rebuild yourself from scratch with the cards stacked against you. there's gonna that looks like it's gonna be like, ooh, there's gonna be like trials and tribulations, and you're gonna have to like be understanding, and you're gonna have to like try to understand what people like didn't like about you and try to change their mind. Like, how do you change someone's mind when they've already made up their mind about like everything that you are? Like, there's a lot of room there for growth and struggle, and that should be a great series. Instead, everything just like happens just like that. It's like, oh, I'm different. Like, oh, he's different. Like, you should look how different I am. Oh my God, you see how different he is? Like, look what I'm doing now. Look what he's doing now. And all of my great ideas. Have you heard about his great ideas? It's like, shoot me. It's like, no. You had a great idea. I understand why you had a great idea. Who wrote this? Michael Sissa. I understand why he had a great idea, but he's just so lazy about implementing it. There could be, again, in the hands of a better author, it's not a bad idea. That you've got yourself a plot line. You've definitely got yourself a plot line. In the hands of this guy, ooh, I'm afraid you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. Sheer utter disappointment. You're getting an F. Bringing us to Nova Terra Greymane. Another full series. Now, you'll notice here that this, you can't notice it there because it doesn't tell you, actually. Okay, suffice to say, this is book 2 of like 10 of this series. And I'm picking this one in particular because I actually like the first book. The first book, right, the main character's struggling. The main character's betrayed. They've got to find their way in the world. All of these things are great, but then it seems like after book 2, it just turns lazy. And everything goes like the main character's way. It's just utter wish fulfillment for the most part. And the characters are all flat. It seems like the person who wrote this is either they know how to write people who become villains and people who are yes men, and there's like no in between. And because he doesn't have like the nuance of writing characters like between those two margins, this just doesn't go well. This doesn't go well. I'd give it a C, but I like the first book. Maybe I'll give it a B. Maybe I'll give it a B. Yeah, I'll give it a B. Why not? I'll give it a B. Why not? I don't think I could bother reading beyond. I think I read 3 and I just gave up because it was just, yeah, all enemies and yes men and another Sanderson book. Yeah. Probably wondering why Sanderson's on here again. I'm wondering that a lot lately myself, to be honest. I love The Way of Kings, which is book 1 of this. And then I think I want to say like Words of Radiance or something is like book 2. And again, not bad. I have no idea what happened with this book. I have no idea what happened with this book. What happened in Oathbringer? Like, not a lot happens. Arguably, you could skip it, which is insane because like 1,000 pages. Being able to say like, yeah, you know, this book, you don't have to read it. Read the first one, read the second one, and then, I mean, get the cliff notes and then go on to the fourth. Like, what? From an S-tier author? How is that possible? Like, it just feels like Sanderson is just so lazy lately. Like, for example, one of the things that I really did not like about this book is in fantasy, there's a thing. Like, you show, you don't tell. You don't be like, I am the best. I am the strongest character in the world. Why? Because I said so. No, you like, they have them accomplish some feat of strength. They don't have to tell the readers that they're the strongest character in the world. They just saw that they were, you know? And this one, like in the middle of the book, Sanderson wants you to know that a main character changed. Like he's not who he used to be. Okay. That's all right. So show what he's doing now. Like what impact he's having now that shows that he's not who he used to be. No. He's going to tell you how much he's changed by literally squeezing in a completely separate novella for this main character, for this, not the main character, but for this side character. in the heart of the book. Essentially, it's like hundreds of pages of the author just telling you how much he's different. Not by showing you like how he's changing and how it's affecting the plot and the characters around him and all that. No. He's just going to take some stuff that happened in the past that don't matter and essentially tell you how much the main character's changed. And that feels so stupidly lazy. One, the novella shouldn't be there. It should be separate. Two, that is the weakest attempt to show and not tell that I've ever seen from a top tier author. Hands down, period. And three, the rest of the plot is just It's just setting up for the next book, I guess. But it just makes this hot garbage, man. It's just hot garbage. I'll give it a B, I guess, just because it's him. It's not as bad as fucking pirates riding dinosaurs. But it seems like maybe Sanderson's going for volume now and not quality. Because Cytonic was hot garbage. Oathbringer is hot garbage. He's taking less and less time on his books. I'm sorry, and it's showing. And now that he's self-publishing, it makes me wonder, because like no one would ever say no to publishing Brandon Sanderson. Like, he's established. You're just printing money if he comes to you with books that he wants published. So I wonder if he got pushback. Maybe he's gotten some critiques that his writing is slipping. So he's saying, screw you, I'm just going to self-publish. Like, maybe he's not taking criticism of his work well? I don't know, man. I don't know. Either way, Cytonic and Oathbringer, not good reads. They're just not. For the cover alone, I thought about not including this one in here, because some people are going to judge me immediately because of it. Suffice to say, I think like after one of these books, I've decided to judge books by their cover. And yeah, let's got like 1,200 reviews on Amazon. It's a reincarnation novel. It's just boring and bad. No, done. I'm over it. Nope, done. Not gonna talk about it at all. Reincarnation novel, gets magic, goes to an academy. Is this like actually classified as a harem novel? Because if it is, I didn't know when I read it, or when I picked it up. Yeah, it doesn't say on Amazon that it is, but it kind of sort of reads like one. I'm just saying. Either way, no, just no, not for me, not for me. All right, here, Shadow and Bone, I think is going to immediately be B. A lot of people are probably offended by that. Like, Shadow and Bone, the Gracious series, I loved it. I don't know why. I don't know why. There's a lot of authors that try to make like really strong female characters, and this is like exactly how you don't do it. Because you've got a lot of really great ideas. One of the problems with writing a character and getting them stronger is they get too strong, and then you just don't know what to do with it. So you rely on tropes like, oh, now that they're this strong, we have to cripple them in some way and then get that strength back, right? You've probably all read garbage like that before, right? It's just an annoying trope that people use. They thought a way around this because the main character's like thing is light. So good against the baddies, but still being vulnerable because, I mean, it's just light, right? So I love that you've got a way to make the character really, really strong, at the same time keeping them very, very vulnerable. That's a good combination. You've got a unique world. Maybe because of the unique world, I'll give it an A. Maybe it's an A. Maybe it's an A in the worst books. Yeah, it's got a unique world. Ouch. It goes to the other tropes that I hate, where you've got a character and they're going to get better. Everybody wants them for some reason. They don't really practice or put in a lot of hard effort, but they're getting better at everything and they're going to save the day, despite the fact that they're doing nothing. It's like, I want the character. No, I want the character. And then they're just like complaining. It's like, oh, I gotta work so hard. But you're not. You're a lazy twit, and I just hope you die. I hope you die, and everybody in the world dies too. That's what Shadow and Bone leaves me feeling. Siphon, A Touch of Power. Another series that I thought was gonna be good. This one deceived me. This one I actually read thinking this one is gonna be good. This one's gonna be good. This one's gonna be absolutely fantastic. I loved the description of it, where yeah, it was gonna be like a lit RPG kind of dealio, but character sick goes elsewhere. Things aren't always going her way, and it should be fine, right? But again, the characters are just flat and boring, and it's just it's just not. Like, maybe it's C tier. Yeah, it's probably somewhere in here. It's probably somewhere in here. It's just unremarkable. I didn't want to keep reading it. Oh boy, The Fire Within. Talk about disappointment. I read this thing through to the end of the series on the hope that he accidentally got better. Like, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. The good setup, good setup. Looked like you've got the beginnings of decent characters. There's only one problem with DK Holmberg. He is gone down the path of quantity, not quality. I kid you not, this man releases like 6 to 10 books a year. No, you know, probably 8 to 10. Probably somewhere between 8 to 10. It's absolutely bizarre. But the problem is, when you've got ideas and you don't give yourself time to flesh them out, all of your books are flat and boring. Like, you're not going to have a lot of you're not going to have anything surprising in the book because you haven't given yourself any time to think about any plot twists or anything cool that you can do with the characters. You're writing on a formula, and it just sucks. I mean, he's probably a millionaire. I wouldn't doubt he's a millionaire at this point. So, I mean, fine. Good job. It's worked for you. It's worked for you because you just like keep churning out books like every friggin' month. You've got your fans, obviously, but it's just, on the bright side, a better author can probably go back and read all this guy's writing and be like, okay, that was a pretty good idea. Let's do something like that, only not terrible. You know, let's like flesh these ideas out more. And you've probably got your own series that you can write with, I'm not saying with very little effort. I'm just saying that with like a format that you've got, not a format, what's what I'm looking for? Outline? Yeah, outline. An outline that you know is going to work. So you probably can. You probably can. Probably won't even recognize the book either. Like, if you actually have things happen with a fully fleshed out world and characters with their own motivations, then you probably won't recognize it from this, because this crap, all of his books that he's written up here, and I've tried a multiple series. I could just fill out this entire list with all of his writing. Yeah, it's lacking on all of them. Not fleshed out, no motivations really, two-dimensional characters. It's just, so sad. So sad someone writes that much and just doesn't care about their writing. All right. The beginning after the end. I'm putting that probably at A. Now, note, I think like after book 2, it goes downhill pretty sharply, and I haven't finished it. How many books are in the series? How many books are in the series? Yeah, there's 9 books. Never finished it. Never will. Book 1 has 3,200 reviews on Amazon. I'll give that a nod. It's like sub 200 pages. Book 2, 2,600, 2,500. Book 3, 2,700. The first one is interesting because it's the only book I've ever read in the fantasy genre where the main character is literally an infant. Yep. Reincarnated character, starting literally as a baby. Like, that was adorable. That was adorable. Like, again, I see why this was written. That is an adorable, that's like an adorable pick. And like, you got like little infant learning magic, and he's really good at it. As he blows up the house, and his parents are like, what the fuck is going on with our kid? Like, it's great. It's great. That entertained the crap out of me. I'll reread the first one just for a couple of laughs. But after that, it's, again, downhill. Yes, men. Everything comes pretty easy as a character, obviously. Not really interested in like the plot, to be honest. It's unremarkable. It's like after the first book, they struggle. It's kind of rocky on the second. By the third, it's just like this is This is just a snooze, man. This is just a snooze. It's just all wish fulfillment. Ugh, hate it. Oh, sorry. I didn't. Sorry, this was so disappointing. I didn't actually rank it. My bad. Fire Within is probably deserves a B because it's a decently written garbage. There you go. But yeah, the beginning after the end. Oh man, I'll give it an A. Like I would put this not on this list. I would put the beginning, the first book, not even on this list. It's just it's pretty cool, but because of the rest of the series, I mean, it probably deserves to be somewhere in the C tier. I'll give it an A just because I like the first one. Just like the first one, that little kid right there, that little kid right above me. The Founding, unremarkable. Don't like it. Has a lot of reviews on Amazon. You might like it if you like our lit RPG. Yeah, lit RPG. You probably liked it. I didn't. Including the characters. Like, I think maybe it was supposed to be just like slice of life or something. Like, I don't think this thing ever actually even approaches the plot or the problems that it creates for the characters to solve. Like, I think I've read like what 3 of the books, and the problems in the first one were just like gone. Yeah, it's like, hey, there's bad, and like, okay, where are they? Oh, they're there somewhere. Haven't really mentioned them in about an entire book and a half. We're gonna do other things now. All that stuff, yeah, just forget that. Forget that. We're just not gonna. We're just not. We're just not. So yeah, boring. Don't like. This is lit art. This is bad lit RPG. It's wildly successful though. But yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad. Oh my god, Traitor Son. Oh man, Traitor Son. This was impressively flat. Again, a lot of books, a lot of reviews. Oh boy. I actually recommend this book to some friends to see if you can read it without falling asleep. Because the characters are all flat, the plot's flat. How do you make being a ranger so boring? Like that's kind of a superpower in and of itself, right? Like how do you do that exactly? It's impressive. It's impressive. I was impressed. I was like, okay, they've got to get better. They've got to get better. They've wrote like 10 books or something. So this has got to get better. It's got to get. It doesn't. It doesn't. I don't even remember the characters' names in this. Honestly, they're so unrememberable. I don't even. I can't even tell what the characters' names are in here. I'm thinking. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing. Completely unrememberable trash. Sorry, Traitor Son. You probably belong in here. You're an F. Don't pick it up. Don't like. Ah, Threads of Fate. Like I have a soft spot for reincarnation novels. Guy goes back to when he started cultivating. You can see I tried really, really hard to like other cultivation novels besides Cradle, and there's just a whole lot of garbage in that genre. It's just completely amazing. Here's an example of one of them. Like where do you even begin with this one? Like, do you talk about how like the guy goes back into like the body of the kid, and he's like going on about how he's kind of now attracted to teenage girls. That's kind of weird, champ. Okay. Hey, you trying to make a joke there? I get it. A little creepy. Or how in a tournament he gets to like murdering some teenage girl because reasons, and it's fine. It's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, you could just go, you could just be crazy, kill her. It's fine. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, kill her. It's like, okay, sure, got it. Is there a problem? We're gonna like feel conflicted? No, not really. Just kill her. Who cares? It's like, why are we allowed to kill her? It's like, because the kid's gonna go crazy, and so no one's gonna blame you, because yeah, she turned crazy, so you're allowed to kill her now. Gives you an excuse. Have fun. It's like, but yeah, all the while he knows everything. can do everything. It's just, again, wish fulfillment with some like weird vibes here and there. And the author writing in perfect excuses to kill people because he suddenly makes them like over the top bad guys. It's like, aha, I'm gonna go and, skin a cat and play with its flesh. It's like, okay, I'm gonna kill you now. That doesn't actually happen. It's giving you an example. So spoiler free. It's just bad. It's just bad. Congratulations. You get the F. You get the F. I don't remember book 2 at all. 1,100 reviews on Amazon. You really gotta be careful, man. You really gotta be careful. Jesus. Okay, this is gonna piss people off. This one. 30,000 reviews on Amazon. Throne of Glass. Yeah. So again, I likes me a good, strong female character. That is not what this chick is. Nah. No, I'm afraid not. Not in any way, shape, or form. She's supposed to be like the most, kick butt assassin, whoever assassin, and she fails at it miserably. Like, she sucks at it. She absolutely sucks at it. The only reason why she's the strong female assassin is we were told repeatedly, "Ooh, yeah, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best." And the king, ooh, king's evil, king's evil, king's evil. It's like, okay, is anyone doing anything about any of this? No. Okay, sure, whatever. Does she train at being the best? No, she's just the best because I said she's the best. So that means she's really good at what she does, right? No, she screws up constantly. Okay, sure. So what is the point of this? I'm just not the target audience. This is for I don't know, teenage girls, I guess. I think that's what this is completely marketed as, because you got a character who doesn't have to work at doing anything, and she's like awesome again. Things just work out for her for no reason whatsoever. And yeah, it's giving the message that you can be good, and you're awesome and special, and you can be the best at what you do with no effort involved. It's just going to work out for you. I mean, if that's the message that you need, pick up this, I guess. If not, this is trash. It's utter trash. Sorry, it is. Okay, seriously. There are so many better books that you can actually read if you want a good, strong female character. You can do, let's see, I've got them from leftover from my last time I did this. Yeah, you could check out Green Rider. She is a pretty strong female character. Very, very different set. Very, very different set. She's a messenger, but she's believable. The world she's in is believable. And she does pretty cool things. If you want something more along the lines of Throne of what is this? Throne of Glass, you can check out Nevernight. Again, assassin, right? If you're looking for a cool female, kick butt assassin books, this hooks you up pretty good. Because she's in like the darkest assassin guild in the history of ever. And she's really good at what she does. Like, actually good at what she does, not this. And she puts in time and effort to be really, really good at what she does, not like the other garbage. Again, there are so many strong female character books, like Red Sister, again, puts in a lot of effort to be like the best at what she does. So not only is she the best, you believe she's the best because you've been there while she's like bleeding and sweating to be the best at what she does. Not this Throne of Glass wish fulfillment garbage. So seriously, that's the kind of book you're looking for. Read anything else. Don't pick this up. It's just bad. Unsold is here for disappointment. Unsold is just disappointing. Not gonna lie, Unsold is just disappointing. Book 1 turned into like one of my favorites. Easily one of my favorites. Oh, so easily one of my favorites. Like Ascendant. Ascendant is fan-frigging-tastic. I loved it. Because exactly what you see here. You've got a guy taking care of a dragon who was scheduled to be killed because it's deformed. Deformity, it's blind. So it struggles to do dragon things. And everyone's like, dude, you were not supposed to save this thing. how dare you? There's like a way of things and it's not this. So the two are struggling and they're like working with each other and trying to make a difference with like the baddies that are out there, and it comes off very, very nice. And then out of nowhere, we've got book 2, and nothing makes sense anymore. Like Unbound, what's going on here? Nothing. They wander around, and then there's like convenient run-ins with people who don't have any point of being where they are to give them like the next quest on their journey. But even that sucks because it's meandering in the woods where they're just like going literally around in a circle. They're like, we're going out to do something. And then we're like, oh, gotta go back home. It's like, what did I just read for the last 200 pages? Nothing. Nothing happened. We started here. We went all the way back around to here. Nothing happened. It was just completely useless. It's trying to make me care about another character that they really, really, really want you to care about. I don't. Like, you can pretty much just skim those pages. Who cares? I wasn't into them. And then the ending is just like, I don't care. Is it done yet? Can I put this down? Am I done with the book? Oh, so bad. So bad. I'll give it a C. I won't put it in the F tier. It's not as bad as Throne of Glass. But oh man. Oh man. Oh, Winter's Heart. Oh. I'm not sure if Winter's Heart is where Robert Jordan lost me. Like, this is book 9, right? I got through. Let's see, because let's see, there was Eye of the World, and then Stone of Tears, and then I don't remember, Shadow Rising maybe, or the Dragon Reborn, then Shadow Rising. Yeah, it held on to me for quite a while, but by Winter's Heart, it's the plot gets so meandering and complex that the author has no idea how to end these threads. So you have like the next 2 books or 3 books or something, I forget. Maybe it was a book before this that lost me. But you have like a 3-book series, like 1,000 pages each. So imagine writing 3,000 pages that are just dull where nothing happens. 3,000 pages of nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like, how can you do that? That is impressive. To be fair, I mean, maybe I had to cut him some slack because apparently he knew he was dying for a while. So, maintaining, yourself at the top of your game when you know that your time's running out. I don't even know what that feels like. Like, I don't know. Hard to say. Last but not least, Zeal of the Mind and Flash Spell Heart Book 1. Again, was that Cultivation? That's another Cultivation novel, I think. Yeah, I think that's Cultivation again. It sucks. Again, flat characters. I put nothing in S tier. Did I not? Oh dear. Was there anything that deserves to be the best of this bunch? Whew. No, I don't think anything here is the best of the worst of this. They're all just bad. I can see the worst, but I don't think anything deserves its spot up in the S. So there you go. There's my rankings. There's my rankings of some of the best, worst novels of fantasy that I can remember. I know there's a bunch that I can't remember. My brain has just completely shut them out and absolutely dead on refuses to let me remember any of them. So thanks, brain. You're doing me a solid. Now, please get these things out of my head, because holy gods, they were terrible. Have you read any of these? Do you agree with where I put these on my list? Let me know down below. Curious to see how many of you disagree with some of the things I have on here. And if you have some picks that I perhaps don't remember. Chances are I read it and I just forgot about it. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you never pick any of these books up. And I'll see you guys next time. What will we go over next? I don't know. Maybe I'll rate all of the lit RPGs or all of the cultivation novels. I've read an insane amount of them at this point. I'd give it some thought. Till next time. Okay, everybody.